Okay, I'm ready to head down to the sandblasting place. I put up some mud guards there, temporary mud guards, rock guards to keep rocks from flying up. Some temporary magnetic lights on the back. And we finally got some nice weather here, so I'll head down. Hopefully take about an hour to blast off the majority of the frame, I hope. And then bring it back here and prime it and paint it. 45 minutes later at $1.83 a minute, so it came to a total of $86.47 to sandblast the trailer. I didn't bother filming that part, it was just too gritty. And a word of warning, I took my glasses off and stuck them in my pocket. I should not have. I'm not sure if you can see that, but they're all scratched, so that dust gets everywhere. So these are toast. I do have a spare pair though, and I'm due for a new pair, so not a big deal. And as well, I think I had my cell phone in my pocket. Again, a no-no. You can see the surface is all scratched. Now that's a plastic coating, so I think I've got another one. I'll just take that off and put it on. But forewarned, if you're doing any sandblasting, take any valuables out of your pockets. After 45 minutes sandblasting, this is what the trailer looks like. Now it's not perfect. There's been lots of spots I'll have to get out with the grinder and the sandpaper wheel, but I just wanted to get the majority of stuff. It tends to have this pewter type look to it. Now pay attention to the type of paint you use. Some require that the metal has to be primed prior to painting, sometimes even with those self-priming paints, especially after sandblasting. You can see here it's not perfect, but I'll just go over that with the sandpaper wheel. Any spots I missed. And again over here. This actually, that's not too bad. That's underneath. I got like all of the big scale off and stuff like that. And partially on the axle, I'll have to take the sandpaper wheel underneath, because I am keeping that axle. The springs and that, I'm not worried about those. Now on my back bumper, after peeling some of that paint off, I did notice there is some rot here, so this I'll have to get a welder to patch that in. This is the tube where your sewer hose goes in, so I'm sure water would just get in there and set for a long time and just eat through. So I'll have to get that patched. Nothing major though. Any of the spots that I have missed, particularly underneath, it's kind of hard at the sandblasting place to get underneath the trailer. I jacked it up best I could and it's hard to see and whatnot, but I'll go under and get all underneath, make sure it's cleaned up. So I'm just using grinder with a sandpaper flap wheel, wire brush, drill with the sandpaper flap wheel. It tends to work pretty good. If need be, I'll grab a wire brush for this as well. I'm also going to take the brakes and the hubs off. There's 4 bolts down here. I do have new ones to put on. I will also be putting on new springs, new bolts, and hanging hardware. I'm not going to change these brackets here. I do have new ones, but they're a slight different configuration, so I don't want to mess with success. By putting on new ones, it'll change the clearance between my tires and the shell of the trailer, and I don't want to mess with that. Check these old ones out, but I'll probably keep them as spares. Leaving these on after doing sandblasting, it's a good idea to repack the bearings. Any of that sand gets in there. That sand gets everywhere. Okay, now I'll check the spindle and all that and just see what kind of shape it's in. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Now while I'm painting and whatnot, I'll cover this up with a plastic bag. just going to go over the frame now just with a rag to get any dust or whatever off. And then we'll give it a shot of primer. For my primer, I've just chosen this Tremclad water-based one. So we'll get this set up and into the spray gun, and we'll take it from there. Now it's really windy here today, probably about a 30-mile-an-hour gust of wind, but I've got no choice. I've got to get it painted. So, and then again, it's just the frame. It's not a big deal. If I was painting the shell, I wouldn't do it on a day like today. Okay, things are going slower than I thought, but the majority of it's primed, the top part, whatever I could reach from the top. Got prime on it. It's getting late here in the evening, but I want to at least try. I had my neighbor give me a hand here, and we just tilted it up just so I can access the underside there. I want to get all this primed tonight, and then you can see the underside of the axle. I just want to get as much primed as I can, just in case it gets wet here in the next day or two. Get a better idea where the bolts go through on this beam here. There's one there, one in the middle, one out there. As we go down, I think there's one in the middle of that beam. Then you'll notice over here they've got these rods or bars going out on either side. They each have a hole in them, so that's on either side of the wheel. Go over to the other side, you'll see at the end of the step there's a hole there for the bolts. And as you work your way back, I think on the last, on that last one there's also 3 holes, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go with this black anti-rust enamel. I'll get one coat on today, and then you suggest at least 16 hours drying time. First coat of paint is done, so now I gotta wait till tomorrow to finish her off. The gun was acting up a bit, but I wasn't too fussy because it's just a frame. You're not going to see most of it. I'll just try and concentrate on the front parts here to get the smoothest finish. Anything that's visible, so the front and the back bumper.